Bandit, rejoice and celebrate. We've gone 900 miles. There. Popping leg pimples. It's one of the most renowned thru hiker pastimes. It's disgusting. Alright, so I'm not really looking forward to the hike today. Today is the hike naked day, in which all of the thru hikers like to strip down. Not all of them, but the strangest portion of them decide to strip down and hike naked. And I don't know. Obviously, I don't want to see that because most of the guys are the ones who decide to do it. And they're all... I feel like there's going to be fights because people aren't going to respect personal boundaries. And maybe I'm wrong in that respect, but it's not something I want to be here for. You know, we're in a national park where a lot of families are taking their kids out into the woods for the first time. And this is going to be what they encounter. Naked hikers. And that's going to be a negative outlook for the class of hikers. You know, we're going to hear a bunch of crap about this. Going through Shenandoah. And we're going to be held in a negative light because a few radicals that want to strip down and think they have a right to walk around exposed. So we're traveling through Shenandoah National Park. We're a few days into it. Despite the fact that it's been easy to travel relatively flat terrain, we are encountering a lot of hills today. And miles haven't been as good as they could be because you run into campground areas and roadside little diners where you can have lunch or dinner or breakfast, and there's been a lot of slacking around. We're not doing hardcore miles like we should be, but I am trying to enjoy the park here. And today we started hiking into potential Bigfoot area. I looked at some reports online, and even though the exact locations haven't been given, I've been able to reduce unlikely areas off of the map and kind of use the information provided to find a general area for where these sightings have occurred. And most of them are kind of in the center of the park, based off of Skyline Drive, which is the big highway that goes through Shenandoah. And I've seen a lot of possible locations, and I circled them on a map of the park. And as we walk by, we're looking for stick structures and listening for tree knocks and things like that as we hike today, and especially later in the evening. Haven't seen a lot of strange things yet, but definitely keeping my eyes peeled, trying to stay alert. And the next couple of nights we'll probably be doing some tree knocks to see if we can conjure some type of response. But until then, we're just hiking the trail like any other day. Just a little bit more vigilant for Sasquatch activity. Okay, so this is a situation that I'm facing right now. I left from the shelter. I didn't really take a break. I didn't really have a proper lunch or anything, because I said, okay, I want to get as many miles as I can today, focus on hiking. Well, I didn't focus well enough on hiking, and I went the wrong frickin' direction. 1.6 miles back to the gap that I already had been at. I wouldn't have even noticed it if the guy didn't say something. He had seen me coming up, so I went 1.6 miles out of my way. The problem is, it was one of the steepest climbs I've climbed today. I have to climb it a second time. And that's 3.2 miles, easily an hour and a half. Wasted. Frickin' wasted of my day. That kind of absent-mindedness, like, you can't make a mistake like that every day and complete this hike. And the fact that, like, I walked for over 1.5 miles and didn't recognize a single thing tells me, where the hell was my head in? Like, where was I? I am so out of it. I am so emotionally, physically, mentally out of it now. Like, I don't want to be out here. I don't possess the mental stability to be out here. And it's kicking my ass, physically, to be out here. Like, how do you find the resolve to do this? This is not the kind of detour that I wanted to take while I was in Shenandoah, and it makes it that much harder when I waste 1.5 hours out of a day to justify doing it later by taking a side trail and wanting to enjoy myself in a more scenic part of the park. It's been so uninspiring, the trail through Shenandoah, because there's not a whole lot of anything we're seeing. We're just walking through the woods. It's like, in any kind of park, the trail typically avoids all the destinations that tourists want to see, because I guess they don't want to cross paths with the thru hikers. I guess the government doesn't want people to be exposed to our ilk. So we got to go out of our way to enjoy something. And geez, when you do something stupid like I just did, you don't feel like going out of your way at that point, and you miss out. I'm just tired of all of this crap. Things becoming more difficult for one reason or another, whether it's my fault or someone else's fault, or nobody's fault. It's just, I want to enjoy this hike and have a sense of confidence as I'm hiking it. Like, oh, I can wake up and hike and not do anything stupid today. But it doesn't work like that. And trying to find a little bit of positivity in so many negative reactions, like, it's too much work. It's too much psychological bullshit. I mean, all this aggression just came out of a stupid decision that happened. Something that is going to be resolved within 30 minutes, but I'm going to be facing the repercussions of it for the rest of the day, or possibly the rest of the week. Because in addition to being 3.2 miles the wrong direction, 3.2 miles further back along the trail when I should be further up, the exhaustion, the calorie count that I'm burning because I went so far out of my way, that's going to affect my energy levels yet later. So I don't know, I'm just tired of thinking about this crap. I wish it was just easy enough to get up and walk like some of these people that freaking do 25 miles every freaking day to the day they quit and complete the thing. It's like, I can't do that. My mind's preoccupied with how much my feet hurt, or how I'm going to get lost today, or how I need to control my dog. Like, it's never just a simple walk in the woods, and I wish it could be. But I guess I'm just too much of a thinker or too much of an idiot to find a way to enjoy it. I haven't figured out which one yet. So yeah, there's a lot going on today. It's a pretty eventful day at Shenandoah National Park. I was just up at a little picnic area and stuff where I refilled my water and took some park service toilet paper from the privy. But there's a lot of people up there, and I was reminded that today is Father's Day. About 4:30, and I hope that at some point in the day I can get enough service to call up old Daddy-O and wish him a happy Father's Day, in which he's probably going to say that old thing that he always says, no, happy Sunday, because Father's Day is always on a Sunday. You get the pun, it's a dad pun. Anyway, so there's Father's Day today. It's also June 21st, so it's the summer solstice. We got more daylight to kick on some extra miles than we do at any other day of the year. So I'm going to take advantage of that and maybe even shoot into night hiking a little bit and try to do my first marathon. That's like 26.3 miles or something like that. So I'm just going to bump it up to 26 and a half or 27 miles just to be safe. But right now I'm feeling pretty good. It's about 4:45, almost 5 o'clock, and I've put on like 14 miles today, so I'd have to kick out another 12. And I'm on schedule to do 8 before dark. So at most it'd be like 4 miles in the dark. But the terrain has been very forgiving to me. You gotta think I've actually done more than 14 miles. I only did 14 and a half miles of progress today at this point. But I also did that 3.2 mile detour where I went down the hill in the wrong direction and had to come back up. So I'm really at about 17 miles walk today. 17, kind of climbing closer to 18 miles. So it's been a pretty good day for hiking, even though it hasn't been a very good day for navigating. And now that I'm back on the right track, I'm going a little bit downhill. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good about the situation. So anyway, yeah, it's just a big eventful day because it's Sunday and it's Father's Day. It's the summer solstice. And of course it's Hike Naked Day, which I haven't seen any naked hikers yet. So thank God for that, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. But, yeah. So there's a lot of things happening on the trail today. And, it's just been another exciting day in Shenandoah. I saw a deer earlier. Deer are cool. Deer are cool. It just kind of hopped around and jumped out of sight like they always do. But yeah, it was good to see some wildlife and all that. Alright, that's your update as I hike through Shenandoah National Park. There's a tree break here, kind of off the trail, and it's a good 14 feet off the ground, 13 or 14 feet. Where did it go? I was looking at it. I mean, it's just a break. But it doesn't look like there's anything that fell recently to knock it down. break that limb off, which is kind of strange to me. You look up here, looks like something was broken there, but that's hard to say. There's a lot of older growth that has fallen and has been on the ground for a while, but that looks relatively recent. That break up there. I want to get a closer look at that break, but I just realized I'm in a whole bunch of stinging nettles, and I don't want to get in a whole bunch of those. So while my legs are slightly stinging and I can cope with it, I don't want to get any further into this and then just be miserable for the rest of the hike until I get to a water source where I can wash them. Yeah, it's hurting pretty bad. I only got into like a few, brushed up against a couple of branches, but it's definitely time to get out of it. But from what I could see is that branch is kind of odd that it's broken. There's nothing freshly fallen that I can see. But that doesn't mean there's not something on the ground that I'm missing. It looks like the top of it broke off in some way too. But I'm looking further back and I'm seeing a lot of deadfall. But that looks kind of unusual. Doesn't mean it can't happen naturally though. There's the thing with tree breaks is, I mean, it could be anything, any act of nature, with a few exceptions that are difficult to explain. But I think these things are relatively explainable. But yeah, definitely still keeping an eye out. We're still kind of in the center of the park here, and where a handful of sightings have occurred. After a good 23 or 24 miles in the Shenandoah, we found a nice little flat area where we can set up camp. If we get up early enough tomorrow, we can watch the sunrise. As we watch the last bit of light disappear down behind the mountains, I'm reminded that we are in Shenandoah Bigfoot country. We're alone, just me and the dog tonight in a tent on top of a mountain. We might try some tree knocks if the wind dies down some. I have to set up my tent with the last bit of light that we have, but I just want to stare at the sunset just a little bit longer. We've earned it. Today was a good day. So it's another day hiking in Shenandoah National Park. And I just read a sign back there. Allegedly, the president, 31st president of the United States, Herbert Hoover, used to fly fish down in the stream here and catch trout. So that was cool, learning about that. We were looking at the miles yesterday and where we ended up camping. We did our biggest day yesterday. We beat our old record by about a mile. We did 24.3 miles yesterday, and it was great. We got to get a little bit of the sunrise, and started right downhill instead of having to climb up from the last shelter. So yeah, so big day, and we got plans for lunch at a lodge restaurant, and other than that, yeah, it's been smooth terrain and good hike through the national park.
Oh, there he is. You are gorgeous. Oh, look at him. Oh, look.
I see the cut of the tree.
Yeah, look. Well, you are a very lucky young man.
I see the couple like moving off from the back, but that's the first one I've actually seen go up. Wow.
So that's what we
Bandit stay. Alright, we're gonna leave. Come on. Mother. We're filming the baby up in the tree, and the mother was just down below. And she kind of bluff charged us. Not like running at us, but she just kind of ran up a couple feet. Said, "All right, that's enough." That was my first bear encounter on the AT where I knew it was a bear. There may have been some bear eye shine while night hiking a couple of times, but that was definitely a bear and her cub. Alright. Alright, so it's a little after 5:30. We just stopped by the Skyland Lodge and restaurant where I had a big old turkey burger and some stuff. It was only 0.1 miles off the trail. So we got some good stuff. Big old turkey burger. And I got a Gatorade and blueberry scone. A bag of jelly beans. All of which are gone now. But yeah. Stopped by there. There was a nice little overlook of the Shenandoahs through the glass window, and Bandit even got some scraps from a family that didn't quite finish their burgers and sandwiches, so Bandit got some good scraps. I'm pretty full, and we're heading out at the trail a little bit later, and going to try to tack on a little bit more, a few more miles onto the 12 that we've done today. But the cool thing about the Shenandoah is you can go to a restaurant and get lunch or breakfast or dinner. You can go and get a few things from the gift shops, and if you see something you like in the first gift shop, more than likely you'll get another chance to buy something as a souvenir later down the line. But it's cool to have these gift shops and little restaurants along the way. And yeah, I'm all out of snacks right now. I'm pretty much just down to meals. But I guess I did have the option. I could have gotten some chips and things there. The thing about the Park Service is, you know, some of those things that are normally less than $1 or $1.50, prices are a little bit inflated here. But it's still cool to have that option. Things like, you know, filtering water, which usually are time consuming in the day. I haven't had to filter water since the first day in the Shenandoahs, because we're always coming across campgrounds and places with potable water. And you could get pricey if you're going to buy yourself dinner every day. But it's been fun. I haven't had to hitch into town. I haven't had to do anything like that yet. And we're getting closer to Front Royal on the outside by Shenandoah. And it's been pretty easy. This would be a great section hike to just do the whole Shenandoah range. So we're entering a part of Shenandoah National Park where peregrine falcons are often seen. And those are those are species of raptor that were actually wiped out from this area. And they've been reintroduced. And I remember seeing conservationists or naturalists or biologist or something in another AT film monitoring a nesting pair of peregrine falcons. I don't know how their populations are now these days, but it'd be really cool to see one. See a lot of branches right here along the side like this, broken. And a lot of amateur Bigfoot reporters would say that it could be a sign of Sasquatch, but the thing you have to understand is This hike is, these trails are traveled by lots of people, the Appalachian Trail in particular. We all got these big heavy packs, so I know I have on several occasions broken branches like that to get them out of the way for the next hiker after I get whipped in the face by one. So it's kind of a hiker etiquette thing. The times where tree breaks are kind of strange is when they're not on the trail, when they're further off from the trail and there's no reason for a maintenance crew from the Park Service or a hiker to break those branches. So on the trail, it's expected for a human to break a branch like that, but off the trail, then you kind of wonder why it's there. You know, the whole time I've been walking the Shenandoahs, I've been trying to envision what it must have been like in colonial times. A few farms here and there in the valley, much like the one down there now, maybe without all the modern technology. But I was trying to envision these small communities, these villages that were perhaps guarded by large wooden forts to keep enemies out, and I imagine the howls of wolves at night and the calls and bugles of elk and moose, because there was a time when these animals all lived here in the Shenandoah Valley, where there were mountain lions and wolves, and then there was a transition where everything was overhunted and there weren't even any deer left until somebody said, hey, wait, we have to change this. But as I look out over these open areas, I do see a lot of wild hills. And as I walk through these trails, I see a natural history that has survived the very prolonged period in which man has inhabited this place. And to see bear and deer still roam the valleys and hillsides like they did many years ago, it's reassuring. It's a good feeling to see that there is a bit of wild kind of at our nation's capital footstep or doorstep. Shenandoah isn't too awfully far from Washington, D.C., and it's great to see that there is some wild here. there is a mother bear with 3 cubs. I counted 3 cubs. Hello. Hello, Mama Bear. She seems pretty calm. I'm gonna try to move down the trail. Bears, mother and 3 cubs, are just over there, about 20 yards from the spring right here. She seems a lot more calm and at ease than the other bear. I think I see her right there. Looks like she's turning over rocks. Maybe looking for crayfish? Huh. Wow. That's cool. Alright, Bandit, let's go. It's only been raining for maybe 15, 20 minutes. The trail is a river of rainwater. That storm came in fast, hit hard, fast. I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to do, but a whole lot of water came down. I got drenched within just like a couple of minutes. And as I was approaching the top of a hill, the big lightning was coming. And I could tell that that lightning was hitting like right where I was about to be. So I laid low. I put my pack on the ground, put my rain cover over my pack, and then just kind of stayed in the fetal position over my pack, and Bandit stayed beside me. Just trying to occupy as small of a space as we possibly could so that lightning could get past us. And as soon as we heard the thunder roll over the mountain and go onto the other side, then we started moving again. But in just that short time where we stopped, the trail is filled with water. It's unreal. That was a hard-hitting, fast storm. This was just after the storm. We just saw another bear laying low on the side of the mountain. We were coming down the trail and we kind of startled it. I didn't see any cubs with this one, but I mean, not around. But for sure, saw another bear today. So that's bear number 5 today. Bear number 5. Because I saw the mother and her 3 cubs making 4. And then 5th bear just now. Shenandoah is crawling with bears. I'm seeing them all my bears at once along the trails. But that was 5 bears today and then 2 bears yesterday. So 7 bears within a 2-day period. How about that?